Hello, class. Today's lesson we're going to start with a few vocabulary words that we're going to need to know and you're going to use a lot in this unit, so that you know what I'm talking about whenever we explain this in class. So an arithmetic sequence, that is a sequence where we add the same number to get the next value in the sequence. So we're adding every time for arithmetic sequence. So an example of an arithmetic sequence might be 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. So if you notice, we're adding 2 each time to get to the next number. And then another term that will go along with this is called the common difference. The common difference is the number that we're going to add each time to get the next number in the sequence. So if I have my sequence 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, my common difference will be 2. And we would represent that with a D that goes with the difference. We think of difference, we think of subtraction or addition. And so that's why it falls into this definition. The other kind of section of this is called a geometric sequence, and that is a sequence where we multiply the same number to get to the next number in the sequence. So an example of that might be 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 if we kept that pattern going. And then the common ratio would be the number that we multiply each time to get to the next number. So in this case, that would be R equals 2. Now we let R represent the ratio. You think of ratio, we think of multiplication. So geometric multiplication, that's ratio. Arithmetic, adding, that's going to go with the common difference. Okay, so let's look at this sequence that we have here. We've got 1, 5, 25, 125, 625. So what we want to do is figure out what the next 3 terms are. So we have to figure out whether it's arithmetic or whether it is geometric. So to do that, we first start whether it was arithmetic. So what we first need to do is figure out the difference between the first 2. So if I did 5 minus 1, I get 4. So what I should be able to do is add 4 each time to get to the next number. So if I did plus 4, I get 5. Plus 4, I should get 9, but I got 25. So I have a problem. I know that's not arithmetic now. So in that case, what I can do is then see if I can multiply. So in order to do that, I can then divide 2 numbers. If I divide, that might give me my common ratio, whereas if I subtract, I'm getting that common difference. So if I take my 5 and divide it by 1, I get 5. So let's try if I'm multiplying by 5. So 1 times 5 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So 25 times 5 is 125. 125 times 5 is 625. So that looks like it's going to be the pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by 5 each time. So I take 625 and I'm going to multiply it by 625 and I'm going to multiply it by 5. I get 3,125. Do it again, I get 15,625. And then do it one more time and I get 78,125. So that would be my next 3 terms in my sequence. If it asks for the initial term, if you think of the word initial, if you think of your initials, those are going to be the first letters of your name. So whenever you see the word initial, that means first. Whenever I ask for the initial term, that's our first term. So our initial term is going to be 1. And then, as we talked earlier, we figured out that it was going to be a geometric, and our R is 5. So that's how we figure out, if you just see some sequence, you want to determine whether it's geometric or arithmetic and figure out what we need, the ratio or the difference. That is kind of the strategy that we're going to do with that. So let's do a few more examples of that. So looking here, I want to figure out whether it's geometric or arithmetic. Then I'm going to find the common difference or the common ratio. So here, I do 6 minus 2. Gives me 4, so then I'm going to add 4 each time. 4 plus 6 is definitely not 18, so that one's not arithmetic. So then I'm going to check to see if it's geometric. So I take 6 divided by 2, that's going to be 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 times 3 is 54, and so on and so forth. So it looks like I'm multiplying, so I know that it's going to be a geometric sequence. And then, as we said, 6 divided by 2 is 3, and then that 3 worked for everything else, so my R is going to be equal to 3. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I do 34. I'm checking to see if it's arithmetic first. 34 minus 14 gives me 20. And then I'm going to add 20. add 20, add 20, add 20. It looks like that works each time. So that one's going to be arithmetic. And remember, this one's a common difference because we're adding, and it goes with the arithmetic. My common difference will be 20. All right, check the same thing here. 109 minus 9 gives me 100. Adding 100 each time. So it looks like that checks out. I add 100, 109 plus 100 gives me 209, so on and so forth. So that one's going to be arithmetic. And my difference is going to be 100. Then my last one, I got 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. So I subtract here. 2 minus 1 is 1. I'm adding 1. Doesn't work. So now I'm going to try geometric. Geometric, I'm going to do 2 divided by 1. That gives me 2. Multiply by 2. Multiply by 2. Multiply by 2. So multiplying by 2 looks like it works. So I go geo. And that's not it. It's going to be a common ratio, and my common ratio is 2. Now, if the pattern is not adding and it's not multiplying, all you have to write is neither. So, got one more example to go through. Oops. So this one, you're given the initial term and you're given R or D. So that's going to give you the hint whether it's geometric or arithmetic. If it's R, it's going to be geometric. If it's D, it's going to be arithmetic. And we just add, and we're going to write the first 6 terms of the sequence. So it gives us our initial term. That's A sub 1. That stands for your initial term. Equals 7. My R is going to be 2. So R, that means it's going to be geometric. So that means I'm multiplying. So it's going to be 7, 14, 28, 56. So, and remember I'm writing 6 terms, so I got 4 so far. I'm still multiplying by 2, so that's 112 and 224. So that's all I have to do, just write those 6 terms because that's all it's asking for. So in this one, I notice that I have a D, so that means I'm going to add each time. So I'm going 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, and 17. So I get my 7 terms, and there we go. This one, I got an R, it's geometric. My initial term is 3. So 3 multiplied by 5, that's 15. Multiplied by another 5, that's 75. Multiplied by another 5, that is, actually let me check that one. 375. Multiplied by another 5, 1875. One more, 9,375. All right, so that's that one. This one, adding 15, so we got 4, 19, 34, 49, 64, and 79. So those are my first 6 terms of those sequence. And so that is geometric sequences versus arithmetic sequences and the difference between the two.